Ubetnir. I hope I spelled that correctly. I think I did. Update the stream title again. And we'll remove this. And let me just find it in not lobbies, in ongoing matches. Hype. MOH. Come on, I see that it's happening. Now, please disable spectators. It is definitely happening now. I just can't find it. Multiplayer. See if we can find it in here. Spectate games. All right. Ubet. ZN at hype. All right. There we go. Finally, it turned up. Spectate. All right. Stream title is updated. We're gonna hop into it. Open link. Make sure my Twitch is still doing things properly. All right. Good. Perfect. All right. Let's see. So, Fog of War. Let us take a look at our matchup. We have Persians versus Malay on whatever this is. So, it seems as if there's a... Okay, there's a Shallows connection between the players. There are two Shallows connections. Then there are a bunch of just miscellaneous Shallows that have boars on them. The outside has extra resources, but is easily wallable. Players start with standard palisade walls, and with a hut that provides 5 population space. And their walls extend onto Shallows. Alright. And what kind of scouting unit? And they start with, like, a skirmisher as a scouting unit. Interesting. So, let's go a bit faster and take a look at the resources. Oh, the pigs run out of food real fast. A wild boar doesn't look too good either. That looks like a skinny boar. How about these deer? Yeah, those are skinny as well. Any fat sources of food? Maybe the Dorado. That's about it. The Dorado is worth it. Let's just also check if the tigers don't have food. The wood is standard. How about the berries? This is a food shortage start. So by having each food source randomized separately, the chance that you're fully screwed over out of food is not so high. Because if, you know, your boars are low, but your deer are fine, or your berries are fine, you really have to have a lot of things randomly go badly for you to really be out of food at the beginning. But here the real answer is to go for fish. And both players are doing that. But even there, the snapper aren't amazing. It's only the Dorado that are good. And what we're going to do is, since we're about 8 minutes late, we're going to fast forward a bit more. And take a look at our situation here. Villager counts are dead equal. Both players are going 4 fishing ships, 4 fishing ships. They read the situation correctly because they... at least there's this. You could even consider... Well, you can't mill on there, that's the problem. Going to hunt on the Shallows. You can't mill on the Shallows. But here, milling these. Let's see, did anyone mill? Alright. Also, let's take a look at the sides here. These, of course, they're just decoration. It is the Furious the Monkey Boy unit, but I renamed it using one of the strings that's available in the game to avoid confusion. Because otherwise people would think it's aggressive. This is an easy wall off with lots of resources. Same here, an easy wall off if it weren't for the horde of tigers. Both players on the way to feudal. Ubetnir will get there a bit faster. And that could be useful for attacking the opponent's fish. So we're going to see a fire galley trained immediately. Actually deleting some of the forward walls. These walls are a connection to the opponent. And let's take a look. Okay. So this is what Darknoob sees. Ubetnir might actually guess that this leads over. Ubetnir has much better scouting overall. I think must have lost a skirmisher over there, but I wasn't paying attention to that, but I think he ran the skirmisher all the way around. That's much better scouting overall. Well, Darknoob basically just has his little arena and is only now finding that these passages might lead over. Alright, some fish might go down. Both players are in feudal though. 3 docks versus 3 docks. Malay can go for harbors. Persian docks have extra HP. Right. Where does it say that? It should say it somewhere. Town centers and docks. Yeah, there we go. Alright, we do see... that fishing ship could go down. Should go down. Darknoob is going for more docks. And both players are investing heavily on water, as they should on this map. This is essentially a water map. Losing water here, well, you can't push on this side, it's too narrow. All of the resources there can be ranged. You can't really push here either. You have to push across the water. Alright, got a new demo there. Might be able to get this juicy cluster. Darknoob retreated his fishing ships way to the back to keep them safe. That is a good trick, to have them far enough away so it takes a long time for the opponent's fire galleys to get there. It gives you more time to mass your own. We have demo ships, fire galleys, full feudal water warfare here. Not amazing demo hits, mostly trading for each other. And at the end, the military count is equal. But that does include the skirmisher here. Demo, is it going to go for the skirmisher? It's not worth it, honestly. The skirmisher is... yeah, the skirmisher does only 1 damage to fire galleys. Ships, of course, have high pierce armor, so they're generally good against any archer units. Demo rafts, that's a decent hit. Like, the feudal water war continues here. It wasn't as good of a hit. I think, honestly, the meta is a bit too in favor of fighter galleys as opposed to regular galleys in feudal age. Like, either... I'm not sure what the answer is. I mean, regular galleys, of course, are faster at sniping fishing ships. Fire galleys are fine at that. Either demos aren't a good enough counter, or the galleys aren't good enough. I don't know. But the water triangle is a bit tricky to balance, and I don't think the game is actually quite there. Because essentially it ends up being... feudal age is mostly fire galleys with occasional demo rafts coming out of docks, especially when the docks are being attacked. Then Castle Age and Imperial Age is just, for most ships, mass galleys, war galleys. While a few ships might go for, or a few civs might go for fire fast fire ships again to clear up galleys, but heavy demos are good too. It's just that they're micro intensive, which makes them less suitable for the late game. That's a decent hit. I think if you hit 2 ships, it's essentially a cost efficient hit. If you hit only 1 fire galley, that's not really that great. Now the difference here is that Ubetnir managed behind all this to get Castle Age, which means that with this single upgrade here, that will upgrade all of the ships to their Castle Age versions. That's another thing that actually should be changed. There should be an upgrade for each ship line. It shouldn't be a single, you know, oh, upgrade this, suddenly all of your ships, regardless of type, are now Castle Age. That makes no sense, just confuses newer players especially. The other thing that confuses newer players actually is the second page on the dock. But that at least isn't as hard to learn. Alright, we have 3 demo rafts. Ooh, they get some solid hits, but against Castle Age fire ships, that's not even that strong, despite getting, you know, near perfect hits, I'd argue. And the battle for water continues. We should take a look behind all this, what's happening. I mean, yes, we have exciting fights happening here. It looks like Darknoob is building houses all along the outside just to basically have vision. See if anything's coming there. He's on 1 TC behind this, of course, because he's still in feudal. This is also 1 TC, 4 docks. 4 docks. Both players now in Castle Age. I guess the important thing is to look at the water. Let's fast forward a bit more, just so that we're closer to live when we actually get here. Because Darknoob, though, was retreating his ships to get his upgrades for Castle Age. Alright. And military counts are pretty even again. Honestly, like, harbors would be good, but of course you require a castle for that to get Thessal. I don't know how to pronounce it. Thessalocracy. I think that sounds about right. Repairing demo ships. Were they actually being repaired? The demo really needs to be over here. The interesting thing with the shallows is it allows you to repair mid-fight. And it looks like Ubetnir took a convincing fight there. And Darknoob is a bit behind on villagers behind all this. Did add a second TC. Is behind on military. He's ahead on villagers, of course. We have no second TC here. The advantage of a castle, too, of course, it requires spending a lot of resources that you might not be able to risk spending, but it would give you a place to fall back to and take a favorable fight. Like if you have a castle sitting here somewhere on the coast, you can just retreat back to it whenever you feel like you're taking an unfavorable fight. And then your opponent can't force a fight at risk of losing all their ships. Even just a tower on the coastline, I don't think that's a thing pros ever do, or higher level players, but it's something I do at my low elo, is if I think I'm late to Castle Age, or just in general, especially in feudal, I might tower my dock. Because that keeps the dock up against fire galleys or whatever, especially if you garrison the tower, and it can also protect the fishing ships if you need to. But no, we have more naval battles here, demo explosions coming in. But overall, Ubetnir still has the military lead. These war galleys, though, are melting to the fire ships. And the battle for water continues. I suppose you have to take another look at the resources. Gold is not at risk of running out. Gold is not at risk of running out. Wood might run out. But there's also actually plenty of wood for now. So it's really about not allowing either player to get the other upper hand. Villager count, Darknoob managed to sneak in the second town center. And the third one now. So he's pulling ahead there. Also probably has the bigger fish boom, I think. Yeah, looks like... Ubetnir doesn't have many fishing ships. Maybe that's part of the villager lead too. I like this thing of sending a villager forward on the shallows though. That makes a lot of sense in this situation. Let's fast forward until we get the next fight again. Alright, we're trying to see sort of an encirclement here with just fires. Fires of course are very good against the war galleys. As long as the galleys don't have a critical mass where they could essentially one-shot fires. See wheelbarrow coming in there, some eco-techs behind. And Ubetnir again takes the water fight, but it doesn't really matter. If Darknoob can set up a good boom behind this and just essentially hold and delay on water, then he'll have a better eco to push back later on. Which I believe is what's happening here. You have to be careful. Don't want to get too far behind, but there is a good eco kicking in here. Well, I'm pretty sure. All right, we did get the second TC here. That's of course very exposed. And okay, so it looks like Ubetnir is also now adding the extra TCs. Wood is starting to run out here, but there's more over here, so it's not critical yet. I believe if we look just at the mini-map, Darknoob might have a bit more wood sort of south of his base than Ubetnir does. So we'll have to see. It also looks like Darknoob might be losing all his docks in a moment. Let's see what's garrison. We got two in there. Fire ship. If he releases the entire swarm of fire ships, it might be enough to drive this back. There's the castle on water. So that castle will allow Darknoob to at least have some place where docks can't be taken out. That's essentially the key to retaining water control. Also, he did manage to send in a flank here, probably taking out the remaining fishing ships. I don't think Ubetnir has any other fishing ships. And the castle is up. The castle also helps secure this gold, I guess. Not quite, really. That's not fair to say, but it does keep a couple docks safe. And it secures this crossing. Because of course it is possible to do land aggression here. You're at risk of getting your units demoed, but there are shallows. Meanwhile on this side, Darknoob is still expanding over here. And so is Ubetnir. They're going to meet up at some point there. But let's take a look now. Yeah, villager lead is growing. But Ubetnir massively has the military lead, just needs to actually get a good push. And behind this though we see Darknoob is going to imp. Now that will get the Persians, they have a good dock, right? Yeah, they have upgrades for all of their ships and elite cannon galleons, so that will be solid. So really at this point, Ubetnir needs to do some damage. What is this? Is it accidental trade cog? Alright. Happens. I misclicked because the dock has 2 pages. Alright, this dock is going to go down. We have 1 fire coming out. Alright. Darknoob is massing by his castle, though. Looking to maybe cut off the reinforcements. While Ubetnir... Let's just take a look. So Darknoob knows all of this stuff. Knows picking up a relic now. Let's take a quick look at what Ubetnir knows. Ubetnir sent the scout in through early, so basically knows the entire structure of the map. He's now stonewalling there, so it's not going to be walled on both sides. This will be broken in a moment, so he's walling behind. And we have Imp, we have the fast fire upgrade coming in. Ubetnir definitely has the military lead. I guess, yeah, he needs at this point to take out the fish. If you've got the military lead, you can't also, this is some damage that's easy to do with the army that you have. Take out those as well. Or maybe he needs to go back and rescue his docks. Okay, alright, he's got a castle too. Get the harbors upgrade. Thalassocracy. Thalassocracy. That's the upgrade you want here. Plus, I guess all the upgrades for your ships. Those are more critical even, but having the harbor shoot arrows would be very nice. Yeah, this is the advantage of the castle. You can retreat to the safety of the castle. Castles do ridiculous damage to boats, especially after heated shot as well. But even without heated shot. The castle makes a big difference. And the castle is even garrisoned with a bunch of villagers. Essentially, it takes a couple shots. The fire ships have a lot of pierce armor. Alright, we're going for chemistry as well, I see. And I noticed that there's some armor for cavalry coming in from Darknoob. So we're going to check in a moment what he's preparing there. Let's just see. Surprisingly, actually, how tanky these are. Someone hasn't... I think this is maybe without heat shot the castle isn't as good as I thought it was. Yeah, we need some heated shot here. Alright, another castle there to help protect the docks. I would have liked to see the Malay unique tech. Let's see. Alright, we've got a Treb just chilling. We have some stables prepped here. Maybe that's just for some, either like light cav raids or paladin even. I don't know. This is walled. Darknoob certainly has the better map control overall. This castle comes up, but all the docks have gone down. Alright, we've got new docks here. Get harbors. I know it's, somewhat expensive tech, but... I mean, harbors actually aren't amazing. But... it would help. Another trade cog here. Both another misclicks. Alright, so we see it's Hussars is what we're going to see from our Persian player. And... well... the Hussars might just not make it. On the other hand, of course, they can just run through... they can just run across the shallows too, provided sufficient water control, and that's what they're going to have to do once this is stonewalled. We see the Trebs coming in. We see our galleons here, lots of fast fire ships here, and the Trebs are in. Now, what does Ubetnir have to deal with this? And the answer is nothing. Actually, the answer is not nothing. He can send in all the ships. And what you actually want here is some demos. Just demo this mess right here. That would be the answer. The fire ships will deal with the war galleys, but if you could demo all this, demo the reinforcements. Quick walls as well. good quick walls. They prevent all the raids for now. TC will go down, but Hussars are not in. Heavy demo though. Demo the trebuchets. Right there. Demo the waiting Hussars. That's the answer here. Even demo this stuff. Persians surely get heavy demo, don't they? No, they don't. While still normal demos are not bad. Now though, the castle goes down, that allows the Hussars in. There's going to be basically a castle here just to defend the eco. Which will do the trick, but the trebs have not been addressed. And the villager count, Ubetnir is bleeding villagers, but he's still at 100. Not the end of the world. But the trebs and hussars in the base aren't pretty. And he's relocated a lot of his eco over here, but there's a limit to how far he can go because all this is walled off. I don't know. I mean, 97 to 140, it's looking pretty over. If he has the fleet to cut off the reinforcements, but I think he needs more demos or a bigger, massive galleons. But I think once these castles fall, it's probably going to be over. We see this castle crumbles, the villagers, and that fleet was destroyed. So yeah, that's interesting. So essentially it played out like a full water map, except that there were shallows. So that makes it a bit easier to push without needing, you know, cannon galleons and a landing and so on. It's still absolutely you need to win water. Or you need to have enough water control to be able to support your land military. But it makes it a bit easier to then capitalize on that. Interesting, interesting. So that was match number 1 in favor of Darknoob. Who, well, by just sticking to fast fires, really managed to clear up all the war galleons. So there should be more games in this set, if we can find them. Let's do a bit of a search and see if we have a game number 2. We do have a game number 2. This looks like, yeah, perfect. All right. Let's get our game number 2. Chinese and Vietnamese on HyperRandom again. All right, then they started with a Scorpion as their starting unit. Now, I hope the Scorpion isn't overpowered as a starting unit. I worry about that, but I think I left it in because it's, unlike a Mangonel, you can't really take down TC easily, and you can rush a Scorpion down with villagers. With loom villagers, maybe. Alright. And we're starting on Mangrove Shallow Madness. Now, these reed forests don't turn up on the minimap, which is deceiving. But there are plenty of patches of forest. However, all the reeds only have 50 wood. Also, they're on shallows, so you can't build under them. You can build everywhere else on the map. I don't know, Scorpions might be something that I have to take out of the scout pool. I've been thinking about that. On the one hand, it's fun, especially for casual games, to start with ridiculous things, an Abraha elephant, or to start with an Elite War elephant, or a Genghis Khan, or a Cobra. Well, maybe not a Cobra card, that's too powerful, but the problem is if the map is also being used for competitive, I have variants, of course, with the map. He's more fair, doesn't have crazy random stuff, but that isn't the variant that I used for this tournament because I wanted it to be more interesting. To put people off of their standard game. Alright, so that boar was not very valuable. We do have fat forage bushes, some fat water buffaloes that haven't been scouted by Ubetnir. Oh, Ubetnir did scout them, just hasn't picked them up yet. Go get them. Both players' scorpions are now going in opposite directions. Scorpions do have decent line of sight. And what else can we look at? So the gold here, there's only one tile of that gold. That's not great. This one's 700. This is probably the tertiary gold. No, this is... Maybe this one belongs to Darknoob instead, who has a one tile gold there. Maybe this is the far gold here, the one at 766. 757. Each player should have the same sets of golds. There's a 757, there should be the one with the... I hope the gold spawned properly. 766, alright, that one spawned pretty far away, but it did spawn properly. Or those are neutral ones. Alright, so maybe each player started with only 2 piles of gold. So this is kind of a low gold situation. The wood is also awkward, to say the least. Not only because of the shallows and the fact that it's only 50 wood, it's very awkward. The meta on these types of maps usually is to go for ships. If you have shallows connecting to your opponent, you go for ships. And you just demos, fire ships, you raid wood lines with them. Let's see how this goes with the Scorpion. As long as there's counterplay in Dark Age, then I'm willing to allow units as scouting with. That's why I took out cavalry archers, because they're faster than villagers. So you can essentially just hit and run forever and cause problems. You can't hit and run with a Scorpion. You have the risk of getting hit, even if you try to run. Yeah, the map looks super open on the mini-map. In Capture Age, actually, they correctly makes these forests forest-colored, I believe. Fight back. You might be able to take that fight. Well, that was close, but did work, yeah. It's not as open as it looks. On the other hand, this is about as non-standard as it gets in terms of players having to adapt to things they're not used to. It's also, this one doesn't have many. There are a couple spaces where you could wall to keep ships out, but overall ships are going to be running amok, fighting melee units. Let's see here. So, Darknoob is going to be in Feudal Age first. He did build a barracks. He is building a stable. And he's not building a dock. Well, Ubetnir is going to go all out for water, and I like Ubetnir's play better here. On the other hand, basically the triangle on these hybrid maps is such that ships beat archer play, you can't go archer play here. If you do, you lose to ships because of their high pierce armor. Ships cost the same as archers, but just have much better stats. However, melee units, like scouts or especially knights, they can rush down ships. But essentially, ships are the archers of mangrove maps. So we'll see how this goes. Of course, there's still the HP difference. This is a 45 HP unit. This is a 120 HP unit. With more attack as well, and range. Like ships are the play. They're 100% the play in Feudal Age. Alright, there's gonna be a dead villager at least here. On the other hand, the galleys might help deal with some of this stuff here. Alright, Ubetnir has lost 3 units, one of them to Gaia. Now this is the awkward thing about these shallows woodlands, is that you can't wall them. But that's what's necessary to create these reed forests. Or for this specific reed terrain, at least. So this will always lead to hyper-aggressive water play. But it looks like Darknoob is doing fine without going for water. Managed to cause some damage. And I don't know if he sort of kept a scorpion alive. That's a buffalo. That's the scorpion. The scorpion is still alive. Alright, Ubetnir is going for food back there. I mean, this is sort of the most unusual map type to have to deal with. Alright, looks like Darknoob is going for the stone walls. He really wants to be safe, and the problem is, how is this gold pile looking? You also can't refresh these lumber camps here. You could put one there. Like, this is all cosmetic. This is just layered terrain. All of this is mangrove shallows, effectively. But this is real shallows. The problem, as I said, is that Darknoob, in his little arena base, has one tile of gold. Only. And that's going to be rough. Meanwhile, this is all quick-walled, but as long as there's a scorpion, that can help pressure things. But both players keeping their scorpion alive as well. We see Castle Age comes first for Darknoob, so that's the thing. In Castle Age, assuming... Alright, he's going for docks. Inside his base. That is probably the right thing to do. The other option would be to go for knights. The problem either way is that this gold pile is running out. There's not, as we said at the beginning, there's not a super high amount of gold on this map. And you need gold for any sort of ships, except fishing ships. Where's the scorpion? Oh, the scorpion's actually going to go down this time. It was... And the scouts are going to go, but they're not going to get there in time. And
yes.
Okay, looks like they're the pause, but the pause does not affect us. I don't think the scouts can do any damage here with the galleys and the scorpions sitting around. If you look at this, the stats of a scorpion: 12 attack, 7 range. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good starting unit. Alright, let's see what happens with Castle Age. We have fire galleys. We have the war galley upgrade. Fire galleys are going to go out and burn down this galley. And war galley is going to be in. The triple docks are up. This gold pile, he's looking critical. Alright, looks like Darknoob is also going for knights. He needs to secure more gold. I mean, knights I would say are also the right play because these ships, of course, have no melee armor. They only have pierce armor. So, like, melee cavalry is good, and then any of the ships are good. Just because they have excellent stats for their cost compared to land units. You essentially replace archers in your archers and knights setup with ships and knights. So, Ubetnir also trying to go for Castle Age. But these fire ships are not scared to sail into the GC. They do have 6 pierce armor. And Ubetnir isn't going to be able to save these galleys. Probably just called it a GG there, yeah. Yeah, ships are really strong. It was the right play to go for them, but Darknoob managed to pull it off. And actually just in time too, because this gold was empty. So it would have been time to expand here. Like, this just about worked. It's just about worked. So that is the second win for Darknoob in this series. Means we have at least one more game since it's the best of 5. And we'll take a look. Alright. Overall, very low KD, despite starting with a Scorpion and everything. The villager count was still very even, but at that point, I think Ubetnir saw he's going to be overrun by ships. And rightly called the GG. Alright. Let's see if we can find the next game already. Vietnamese and Chinese, that is the current game. Alright. Let me refresh. Unless... that wasn't... No, we didn't miss anything. Alright, I'm going to grab a drink for a moment while we wait for the next game. Put this on, we'll get us some music again. What can we offer now? The last cons, but quiet. Alright, so I'm seeing that the Modri vs Margu game is up already as well. I don't really want to jump series. Let me double check to see if we can't get the last Darknoob Ubetnir game. Alright, it should be up. It started 3 minutes ago. Perfect. Like, I don't want to be jumping series that much. Hype. Modri, come on. Come on, I know the match exists. Let me see it. There we go, Darknoob versus Ubetnir. Open link. Pause audio. Close audio. Remove overlay, and we are a go. Alright. They started with another fancy building. Actually, that was the other series where I had one. Yeah, I should do something with. I should make these worth something. Quimper Cathedral. Either give them a resource gen or population space, or make you lose if you lose it. Alright. So, what have we got? Alright, we essentially have Socotra. Whoa! And the center is Forge per Central, but they only have 99 on each one. Lots of lions there in the middle, too. Interesting. It's another water map. With these baobabs too... Okay, they're worth 200 wood, of course, but there's not that much. And I feel like... Ubetnir has the bigger forest on his side. Although, yeah, I think Ubetnir is the bigger forest. See, 1, 2, 3, 4 gold piles, 1, 2, 3, 4 stone piles. 1, 2, 3, 4 gold piles, 1, 2, 3 stone piles. Alright, resources seem to be even enough. Also, 2 relics more or less on each player's side. I mean, this is in the middle here, but yeah. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Well, we could definitely see some sort of lion rush. The middle here is cracked terrain as well, which means that buildings will take more damage on. I need to... This is another generation that I need to debug a bit, because that doesn't seem right that this TC is so close to the middle stuff. It's not so ideal. There is water to go for as well. I suppose we could take a look at that. Oil water is juicy. And the box turtles. Those are some fat box turtles. And a fat rhinoceros. And a ree. I wasn't going to say anything, but I guess that the players might want to ree this. That was... I guessed that could happen. Where they didn't really want to play either on another water with passes in the middle map or one of these super crazy Socotra things. I suspected that this would happen. Which means that we need to go find ourselves another game. Well, we need to go find ourselves the re... I didn't even get to talk about the civs yet, but it was Bulgarians versus Byzantines. But I took a guess there that they might re that. Okay. Also, there is the Modri versus Margugu set happening as well. I can't cast both at the same time though, so we might have to cast that one from Rex, or I might sit down and have dinner and watch maybe someone else is casting it if they're not too busy with the other things happening today. Alright, looks like the reach is up. We just need to find it again. Refresh. We should be in there in just a second. Hype. Lost connection to server. No losing connection to server. There we go. Darknoob, Ubetnir. Let's go. Open the link. Tatars and Mayans. Alright. We have outposts, 2 TCs, and a scout. Well, this is nice and fun. And the berries are 28 food each. They're going to run out in no time. Gold is 500, not so great. Turkeys, oh boy, how are they going to keep their 2 TCs running? They're going to have real troubles with that. And they read into another, yeah. They read into another islands. Connected islands. So I think I have an update ready. I haven't pushed it yet. Where essentially in 1v1, these shallows will usually have a much bigger chance of being wide. Where instead of being like this, they might be from here to here. I think maybe I need to push that update when there's a day when they're not playing any games. Just to get that in. Because we see a bit too many choke pointy maps. And it's only something I need to do for 1v1 because in like 2v2 there'll be more connections anyway. The fish isn't amazing, it's pretty spread out. But the fish itself is nice and plentiful, bountiful. So both players are on 10 villagers. I just want to see how they manage to keep their eco going in this disaster of a food shortage. And a boar like that helps. Boars are normally 340 food. No, are they? Elephants are more. I thought, oh, is it 380 and 400 normally? No, I don't remember properly. Elephants are more. Maybe they're normally 380. Or 340. 340 sounds right, but I'd have to double check myself. I don't remember. I would say these double TCs are a bit nicer for Darknoob, where they sort of cover each other a bit more, I would say. What else can we look at? 2 relics for each player, that's fine. That's nice and balanced. Oh no, 3 relics on the side. I need to, that's the other thing I'm going to do is on setups like this. Make the resources equal on both sides. I know I've talked about that before. I can actually, you know what? I can set up, I can put this in the stream title, MOH with a... Yeah, alright. By the way, if you want this Dark Age TC mod, I saw it on Lavi Head's stream. It's her Mushroom TC. You can find it in the mods for the Mushroom TC. I just thought it looked cute. It's just a cuter way to do a Dark Age TC. Normally I wouldn't have this active, but I was playing in Explorers of HyperRandom. And for that, I put on all of my maximum advantage mods, including small trees, which I normally have off. And, you know, brighter relic glow. Everything, this is, tournaments are a time to actually try hard. Normally I wouldn't have small trees on either. But it is good to see what the maps look like with small trees. Let's just fast forward a bit. With double TCs, once players have their food eco under control, they should be getting many villagers. Like, both of them are on, 20-odd villagers, still in Dark Age, not going to fuel yet, even adding fish. The thing there is that that's ambitious. With 2 town centers, the added benefit of adding a dock, normally the advantage of a dock is that it lets you add essentially another eco-production building in Dark Age. But if you can't keep it running, if you can't keep both TCs running, you know, if you can't keep all of it running, then it's not worth adding. Actually, the other advantage, of course, is that you then have a dock when you're in feudal. But given 2 TCs, you have more potential for villager production anyway, so it's less critical to have an early dock. Now, Ubetnir is noticing this passage. Probably has walled it completely. That looks pretty complete. There might be a hole between the dock and I don't think so. So this looks like it's walled. Darknoob could, of course, transport over there. Or... yeah, that's probably the natural place to transport, right into the Tiger. Which Darknoob is scouting for. So let's take a quick look at the scouting information. Darknoob has his scout on the opposite side. Or both players have their scout on the opposite side. Yeah, both players know there's a passage in the middle. That's good. Both players are still in Dark Age on a villager or economic unit population of 45. Interesting. I guess if this weren't walled, one strategy could be just to say, alright, we're going to idle one of the TCs, get to feudal, do damage. But maybe they think there isn't as much potential to do damage with 2 town centers covering things. Or they're just playing their standard thing of keep adding villages until you have enough to afford feudal age. Because the advantage of a 2 or 3 TC start map is that you get into things faster. And then when you get to feudal or, say, castle, you're going to have a really nice economy already. Now, I guess we can talk about the civs as well. Tatars have no special bonuses on water, except hill bonuses, except there are no hills on this water. Sometimes there are on this map, but not always. And other than that, no particular benefits for this setup. Mayans, the same. Neither really has extra water bonuses to speak of. Because neither civilization was one that engaged in a lot of naval warfare historically. Alright, so Ubetnir is in feudal first. What's he gonna make? Well, let's take a look. He's making fire galleys. If he can do some damage there, by the time these come out, yeah, there won't be much time to do damage. And is there any military behind this? Nah, just more expansion, milling everything, trying to get enough food. Fifty villagers or fishing ships in feudal is quite nice. Alright, let's... yeah, see, by the time that one of these actually gets out, it can chase the fishing ships around, but it's not going to do much damage. There, with the repair villager, the fishing boat actually doesn't go down, fishing ship. But what we have behind this is both players have immediately clicked up to Castle Age, more or less, after building their 2 buildings. Alright. Demolition raft on the shallows, always a good idea. Although actually I think the demolition raft is for dealing with this. And boom. Not the best hits. And Darknoob has invested more in fishing ships. But he's behind on villagers despite that. Because he clicked up to Castle Age. No, it's just behind on villagers for no particular reason. Maybe wasn't able to keep the TCs running at the beginning. Let's see. Demo raft, 1 for 1. More or less. Unless this guy gets repaired. Alright, so Ubetnir can now get... He's going to get a castle on the shallows, which also protects his docks. So that's pretty good. There's, of course, still the risk of landing, but overall, castling the shallows is good. Also secures the gold. Secures the docks, secures at this position. What to do in Castle Age, though? I'm not noticing ship upgrades. I'm noticing more ecotechs. Mayans... Well, I guess Mayans can just push through with Eagle Warriors or Plumed Archers. Yeah, Plumed Archers. I think land aggression is what's going to decide this. This isn't going to go to super late game water control or anything. All right, we caught up to live gameplay. All right. So, villager situation is close enough. Ubetnir's a little bit ahead, but in general it's relatively equal. Added a third town center. Both players are happily booming for the most part. Darknoob still on 2 town centers, but has more fish. And has not had to resort to shallows. Shorefish, I mean. We see defensive castle coming up. That will secure the gold. That will secure the front of the base, more or less. Against the Plumed Archers. Interesting. So both players are doing just fine for now. And don't really want to fight on water for water on Castle Age. Neither player is producing anything right now. That's interesting. Are they both going for fast imp? Yes. Both players saw the other's castle and have idled their eco to go fast imp. And Darknoob is going to be a little bit faster, but not enough to make any difference. Now, in imp, Tatars, of course, have the option to go for amazing extra range trebuchets. And also this hill, Tatars do extra damage downhill, so that could be useful. The Eagles, well, the Plumed Archers here are looking for a place to do damage, haven't found anything. On the other hand, if Ubetnir can control this part of the map, say with a castle here, or just somehow keep control of this part of the map, that will be nice. Alright, looks like Darknoob burned down the market. That's a bit of a nuisance. Alright, yeah, so... Darknoob is essentially... neither player really cares about water that much. You can tell by the fact that these ships aren't even upgraded. I say that, and there's a war galley here. What are we going for, though? We're going for siege. Some defensive siege from Darknoob. And ships and more plumes from Ubetnir, who's going to go for a second castle forward to get more plume production. How are these ships doing? They're going to burn down the mill. Yeah, I mean, the fishing distance is increasing too, but there's still some fish to be had, so it is worth keeping that around. Alright, we're getting some town watch. We're seeing the first treb here. And what we haven't seen... Okay, we are seeing a treb as well. Okay. The mangonel, are we seeing onager? No. Well, there's going to be an epic battle here very soon. Between trebs and plumes versus trebs and siege. The ships are not going to be helpful in this fight. Because Siege has too much pierce armor. And the ships are downhill. Alright, so the Treb War is going to begin. Ubetnir deletes his walls to have a bit more maneuvering room. I think, alright, first dock goes down, the dock is downhill, the castle is also downhill actually. It looks like the Trebs can't range the castle just yet, they're going for the other dock. Which means that Ubetnir's war galley play is going to require new docks if he wishes to continue that. There is of course still the option to transport across, but I guess given that there is a crossing, neither player really cares to do that. Ubetnir doesn't need to because he has room to get through. Alright, so now we see cavalry archers versus essentially the mezzo equivalent of a cavalry archer. I don't see that Ubetnir has an answer to this army. The war galley is not the answer. Maybe against the cav archers, but war galley is not the answer, especially without docks. And he's now housed. And plumes are not the answer versus this army. And I'm not seeing any other military behind this. The castles are fine, but we need a better answer to this, like your own mangonels, maybe? Maybe that's what Mayans go for, or Mayans go for, you know, maxed out eagles, but that requires some upgrades. Plumes are able to snipe the mangonels, but I think Darknoob here has the better military, certainly. There is one other thing, though, of course, that Ubetnir has built up a villager lead behind this. So maybe he can capitalize on that. He's mostly just going for more plumes and trebs, though. I don't think plumes are the winning unit in this fight. I'm not convinced of that. The trebs might actually... This treb might go down, given that there's so many trebs here now. I have my beach ball trebs mod on, huh? How is the... That's not a landing, that's just fishing. Okay. Can't repair, out of resources. Yeah, well, the trebs are all down, so that's alright. Surprisingly, this worked. I guess targeting the trebs with your own trebs, and Darknoob was trying to take the castle down, wasn't able to deal with the trebs either. Fair enough. I thought that was going to go worse for Ubetnir, but he did manage to hold. And now, what do we see the different players going for? What is this unit? Monks. Alright, we see monks. We see more trebs from Darknoob. Monks from Ubetnir. The monks are just going to go probably for the relics. Ubetnir still has a villager lead. Aha! There is a transport ship here. Shall we take a look at Darknoob's point of view? He doesn't have enough stone to drop a castle. So, the transport... I don't know, he could transport and just build a bunch of stables or something over there. Alright. Both players are just doubling down on their units. Well, we have more trebs. The Darknoob currently isn't producing much. Trebs and Cav Archers, though. And we see infantry armor, so this is going to be the Eagle switch that we were thinking might come. Yeah, there are the barracks. And I think that's what's needed to push the siege and the Cav Archers. Like this might be Ubetnir's game to win. What's the transport ship for, though? That's what I wonder. I'm just not seeing much military from Ubetnir. Okay, it does have Cav Archers in the castle, healing up. Alright, it looks like Ubetnir is retaking the water. That will prevent the transport ship from being able to do a landing. And here we just have sort of an impasse, where both players have a pile of trebs, a pile of ranged units, and a castle. Alright, the Eagle switch is continuing. And I'm not sure Heavy Cav Archer, with all of its various upgrades, is the best answer to Eagles. Also, I don't think going for the castle here is the play. I think the play is to stand higher up on the hill and shoot down the trebs. Or even to get the Tatar unique upgrade. Why am I seeing the Mayan tech tree when I'm looking at Tatars, please? I'm looking at Tatars. Yeah, trebuchets plus 2 range. And you don't need flaming camels, but because both players need to push up a hill across the shallows here, and I think plus 2 range on the trebs is what lets you win the treb or shoot at the castle without dying to the enemy trebs. But Ubetnir's just doing more now. He's retaken the water, has more trebs, is winning the treb wars consistently, and is also still prepping the Eagle switch. Yeah. And a Darknoob calls a GG. This push has not succeeded. I think the problem for Darknoob here is that he kept targeting the castles when there were so many trebs shooting at his own trebs, where he probably should have targeted the trebs. Maybe if there were no repair villagers, the castle would have gone down, but not like this. So what this means is that the series is not over, because Darknoob won the first 2, has lost this one, so it's 2 to 1 in favor of Darknoob currently. Which means we get to see more games, which means I'm not going to be casting the other set that's happening simultaneously. Someone will cast the Rex likely later on, probably Nova or Blackadder, or both. Both of them have been very active, or maybe T-West even. Or I'll cast the Rex at some point. I just want to make sure the loser's bracket is covered too at this point. Alright. Interesting. So I was worried this was going to be a 3-0, but no, we get to see another game. So let's see if we can find it. Let me just check if it's up already. Probably not, since we were live. I can get us some music again. What do we want this time? Heavy metal cover. Alright, I see their lobby. I just saw their lobby a second ago, so the game should be up any moment. How are we doing? Okay. Looks like we should have a match any second now. Let's just see if it turns up here yet. Alright. Hype. Alright, we got ourselves a match. Alright, let's close the music. Alright, and where's our game? Here it is. Chinese versus Magyars. And I'm seeing that this is an Oasis style. Ooh! It's 3 Lakes Oasis. Alright, alright. Normal scout. We have a huge forest in the middle with an easy wall off to the sides. The pawns are somewhat worth it. 3 lakes. So Darknoob has 2 lakes close to him. Ubetnir only has 1, but has a bit more building space over here. This is a very choke pointy map. There might be a passage through here. Maybe. I think there's like a 1 tile gap here. There's a big gap here. Very easy to wall, especially because it started pre-walled. And let's take a look at the resources. So we got 194 on the Ibex. That's solid, especially since there seem to be 4 of them as well. Turkey is a bit less than usual. Forage bush is alright, that's fine. Gold mine, stone mine, gold mine. Plenty of gold. Plenty of stone. Plenty of stone. And the neutral ones are also pretty, well, overall pretty rich. Let's see, there is a 1 tile gap. We were interested about that. Alright, so as a reminder, this is now 2-1 in favor of Darknoob. Ubetnir would need to win this game and the next one to continue. And Darknoob just needs to win one of this one or the next one. Let me also send the command again in chat. .moh. There we go. Alright. So who called the re this time, Ubetnir? Why did they both say enemies around them? Interesting. In any case, yeah, Ubetnir looked at this, decided he doesn't want to have an arena set up like this. Let's just see what he saw, actually. I probably saw this lake too. Which is fair enough. So that means each player has used their re. And we're going to have to look for another game. So each player gets a free restart that they can use however they want. If they don't like the Civ matchup, if they don't like the map, if they don't, something goes wrong at their start, they have 4 minutes to call that re. And they can also call an admin re if the map is like grossly bugged. We had one case where one player started with a demo ship and the other player didn't get one. And any case where, you know, starting units are bugged out like that, that would be a place where they can call an admin re as well. That wasn't the case here, but that's also available as an option if they need it. All right, so let's see. We're gonna have to wait just a second while they make a new lobby and start that up. That shouldn't take long though. Yeah, lobby's already up. So let's see. That's still the old game. Okay, we don't want to join that yet. 6 minutes ago. No, that's still the old game. We just need a second there. Yeah, so I don't think many people are watching right now, mainly because there's the Wandering Warriors Cup is happening, and that's, a much bigger event. And this is also the losers bracket, not the winners bracket. But then again, these are all still very good players. So I am happy that I'm casting this. All right, looks like the next lobby is up, or next match is up. I just need to find it. Yeah, that's still the old one. Let's refresh AoE2.net. All right. Hype. No data in table. All right. Spectate. Open link. So we have polls and Khmer. No more player restarts available. 2 more matches. And we're housed. The Fitoria start. Maybe the Fitoria start is a bit too frequent even. We've seen this more than a few times. I can think about that. All right, we have a huge reed forest. And other than that, it's basically just a standard map. All right, give me just a second. All right, I'm back. Cool. So, let's just take a quick look around. We saw our massive reed forest. This is... We hear water audio because of the beach train, I believe. So that's why we have that. Just quick look. The elephant has plenty of food. Alright, goats have plenty of food. Ibex don't. That elephant has less. But with the Fitoria too, they'll have resources in general to spare. Ooh, that's a juicy gold mine. This one here, that's the one. No, this is the one. This is the juicy one, yeah. Juicy isn't the right term to describe a gold mine. Juicy is the right term to describe a forage bush, which is also very juicy. This fruit bush here, 411. For a gold mine, rich would be the right word to describe it. Yeah, we can call the animals fat, the mines rich, and the bushes juicy, and the trees thick. Normally the trees are just normal thickness though. So the 50 wood on reeds is just the default for reeds. In general, I have it set up so that the straggler trees are always affected by the random wood count. The forest trees have like a low chance, like a 1% chance or something of being influenced. Interesting that the full work thing is a little bit off grid. Huh. Alright, so in this matchup, both players have very little food, but that's enough to go up to feudal age because of the Fitoria. And Poles versus Khmer. I'm not sure how that matchup goes. There are a lot of matchups that you don't see played in normal tournaments. where they get to pick their civs or draft their civs. But because this event is always random civ, also when you restart it's random still. So we get to see matchups that you wouldn't normally see, and players sometimes have to try and win with something that could be unfavorable normally. Now let's take a look at the scouting. Yeah, okay. Like if oh, they switch colors too. Oh, that's gonna be confusing. Oh, that's real confusing. They switch colors. But if Darknoob had scouted this fat promontory here, then he could have walled right there. Just had this side fully walled off. But there are enough wood lines to do a nice, safe wall, home wall as well. Scout gets back in safely. This scout could make it in here. Meanwhile, both players are non-feudal. We have an archery range, and we have nothing. So Darknoob's fast feudal was for going to Castle Age, and he just doesn't quite have the resources yet, or the buildings. So actually, Khmer don't need the buildings, but Poles do. Well, this is going to take a moment still to get up because he doesn't have a blacksmith either. He doesn't have the wood for a blacksmith. Yeah, this is just a bit of skirmishing. Over here, Khmer don't need the buildings, but Ubetnir is going for them anyway. Khmer, of course, can just go up without building requirements, which is quite nice. And the archery range has produced some archers. I like this layout. This is a good. This is an interesting map. Let's check the fog of war again. How much has Ubetnir scouted? Might know about this thing in the middle, but probably doesn't fully understand it either. Structure of the map, but also knows about that. It's always worth on these maps to scout the four corners and the middle. Alright. Darknoob really wants to arena this up. And is going to succeed at the cost of having to use a lot of stone. But also has villagers on stone already because he's Poles and gets gold from that. We've seen Poles more than a few times actually in these last two sets. That is just random, of course. Also with the Fatoria, players getting every resource. I mean, forcing up all these stone walls, that's probably decent use of 2 archers. And here this wood line has been denied. The thing here is that Ubetnir can essentially range every wood line except maybe the corner of this. Both players are up to Castle Age at about the same time, too. This wall-off would have been much nicer to have, but that required more scouting than either of the players did. So what? We also saw one place where one match. Not one that I was casting, more I was watching, where the Fatoria get converted. And we also saw other ones where they got destroyed. So that's always interesting. Both players here on very low eco, but of course this counts for another 20 population. And generates resources. I don't know, Darknoob is going for the extra town centers. But the pressure is soon going to be too much to handle. And the stone walls there. Alright, those walls are going to break. But it's sort of blocked off behind. And what do we have? We have a scorpion coming out. I guess the question is, how much damage can Ubetnir do, or can he do enough damage with 1 TC? We see Defensive Sheaths Workshop. Alright, that might be enough to hold for a bit. Alright, here... that's actually annoying. These crossbows are able to deny all of this gold, despite the town center here. Of course, you can't build anything other than walls on the beach terrain. So the town center couldn't have been up here. Poles can get gold from stone, so that's not critical. Although, this might actually be... Darknoob might lose this, just from being cut off from gold. Of course, he still gets some gold from this, and he could use some mangonels to push through there, but that's rough right now. Meanwhile, okay, we have a monk here. What's the relic situation looking like? Oh, there's still a relic there. Each player started with a relic close to their base. So we're likely not going to see a relic victory unless Ubetnir manages a very bold relic heist. Let's take a quick look at his monastery. 1 relic in there. He knows about this one. He also knows about that one. That one would be the tricky one to steal, though. If he manages to get that one, then he could actually go for relic victory, which are enabled in this tournament, as I think we've rarely seen cases. I think we saw 1 wonder victory and several failed attempts at it. And for relic victory as well, we've seen, in general, when a player manages to get it, they aren't able to hold on long enough. That's more frequently, and in fact, in the games I've played and explored with HyperRandom as well, I managed twice to grab all the relics, but was in such a weak eco position that I was unable to hold on to them for long enough to win. Alright, the siege push continues. And how's our eco situation? Well, Darknoob is really pulling ahead. Maybe he's banking on the fact that with the Fatoria, that will be enough to provide good resourcing, or more, it'll be rewarding enough to just go for this defensive play. To go for the greed. But siege is going to be in and can start pressuring this town center. Let's see. Alright, behind this, Ubetnir has also added town centers, so it's also on 3. If you have the map control and are unable to push further, that's the thing to do then, especially if you've managed to deal some damage. You don't want to fall too far behind in economy. And it looks like Ubetnir was housed. Probably Darknoob is likely to get housed. Yeah, he's going to get housed with these houses going down. Alright. It's ultimately a 1-for-1 trade. We're really going for a boom here. Scores are pretty even. Villager counts are not so even. But Ubetnir has has 3 kills and 10 deaths. That's not a great KD for being on the offensive. I guess the crossbows achieved less than I thought they did. they did cause idle time and delays. Alright, we're seeing a very defensive castle back there. But it seems Darknoob just really wants to secure this stone. It is a lot of stone and it will provide gold. But the castle in the front would be better for stalling out pushes. Let's take a look at player scouting. Darknoob has no idea what's going on in the rest of the map. Ubetnir has a little bit more idea, but also hasn't scouted all that much. Now though, we have in there one mangonel. We have a forward castle here. Not very forward really, it's just enough to anchor this push. Both players going for imp. And Ubetnir will be there faster. We also have whatever this tech is. Which makes Cavaliers cost a lot less gold, 60% less, I believe. So that's what the castle was for. Alright, I want to see this castle. That's the one I would have wanted to see earlier, yeah. Darknoob does not have any vision about what's going on. And it looks like we're going to see Halb versus Cavalier, if you look at what's being researched, plus the respective siege and so on. So Ubetnir has correctly read what's coming for him. Question is whether that will be enough to deal with the horde of Cavaliers that will be coming soon. We will see, we will see. Another town center. We're now on 4 town centers here. Alright, and the Treb Wars begin. Both players are going to be starting the Treb War here. Alright, we see a bunch of knights queued up. How's our... Alright, we're beginning the production here of pikemen. Or halberdiers, I guess, at this point. Or are they still pikemen? They're still pikemen, they're not halbs. I actually don't know if Khmers get halbs. They probably do. But I'm not a hun. No, go away, tech tree. The fold-out tech tree is really nice for these situations. Khmer have a decent tech tree overall. Yeah, they do get help. Alright. So here the advantage of starting the Treb War earlier. Means that Ubetnir has a bit of a head start. Also, the market, or was the blacksmith was deleted just to make more space. There are 2 castles though against 1, so that's easier to increase the numbers. Let's take a look. Well, we were both attacking each other's castles rather than each other's trebs. With this many villagers, I don't think this castle's going down soon. Oh, it's now 4 trebs. This castle might actually go down first. I always wonder, I guess it's really tricky to know whether you should target the castle or the enemy trebs first. I think both castles go down here is what happens, yeah. And now the trebs can shoot at each other. And we have our Cavalier coming in. We have some pikemen. And some monks. Alright, now the big fight potentially. Ubetnir is housed. Ooh, okay. Ah, this is a common strategy actually. Outpost and house trick so that when you... I think the trick is it makes patrolling patrolling enemy units and get caught up attacking houses rather than just patrolling on, whereas I think they ignore outposts. This is actually full walled for now on this side. I'd still, once players have a better view of the map, like to see just walling to here, but they don't know that yet. Alright, now we have halberdiers. Meanwhile here, they're gonna get through the house wall. And the problem is, I feel like Ubetnir doesn't have enough barracks here to really get enough halberdier production going. And is still behind on villagers as well. So these halbs all go down. There's still some crossbows alive. This push is stuttering. Meanwhile, over here, Praetoria might go down. That's a big loss. That's a nice eco boost there. The Praetoria HP nerf coming into play. This does free up population for Ubetnir, but it's not great to have lost that. And I don't know if that shows up actually on the villager count. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But yeah, Ubetnir doesn't have enough resources to get enough halberdiers out. These super cheap cavaliers just running amok. And Darknoob has won this loser's bracket set 3-1 against Ubetnir. So good game there. We'll quit the current game. Let's see. That was all the crossbows, but they didn't really do so much damage here. All this army, all these crossbows. The TCs were enough here for Darknoob to hold on long enough to get his eco to the point where he can spam the cavaliers. Alright, so I think, well, that's that series done. There is theoretically the Margugu set as well. I don't know if that's even going still. Let me just quickly take a look around. But probably we're going to be calling it Maudry vs. Margugu is already done, it seems. I think I'm gonna have someone else cast that or cast that at a later point. Because I've been talking for quite a bit. I need to break. Actually, they're still going. They're still going, but the problem is they're in the middle of some set. We did that before. I don't think... Yeah, no, we can watch. Maybe we'll look at it later, or we'll watch it on someone else's stream. I think I don't want to jump into the middle of another set, not really know the score or situation. So thanks everyone for tuning in, or more likely thanks everyone who goes later on to watch the VOD, which will be saved. It should be saved indefinitely on my Twitch once I go save it as a highlight. And yeah. It was fun watching these today. Let's put up the cover again and end the stream.